And a warm welcome to Dateline London. I'm Jane Hill. This week, our discussions include the state of the UK's finances after the budget, whether this could be the end of the German Chancellor's reign, and assess the prospects for the people of Zimbabwe now that Robert Mugabe has finally gone. My guests this week, from Germany, Stephanie Bolton of Die Welt, the UK Conservative political commentator Alex Dean, from Bloomberg News, senior writer Stephanie Baker, and the Italian writer and filmmaker Annalisa Perez. Hello and a warm welcome to all of you. But before we discuss the subjects I outlined there, we do want to take a moment to focus on the horrific attack in northern Sinai. More than 300 people are now known to have been killed in a bomb and gun attack on a mosque during Friday prayers. As we go to air, no group has claimed it carried out the attack, although the state prosecutor in Cairo has said that the gunmen were carrying flags of the so-called Islamic State. It is a quite horrific attack. And Annalisa, the scale and the coordination of this is something that has not been seen in this region for a very, very long time.
It's unprecedented and we know very little at the moment, so it's very difficult to draw conclusions. But two things really stems to mind. One, this is an attack on the Sufi community, which is a spiritual form of Islam, which ISIS sees as their direct rival. Because they bring away youngsters from this idea that Islam can be only violence. They are non-violent, they're spiritual, so they are a direct rival. And the fact that they're attacking them with such force is pretty scary. But the second point that I would think is important is that Egypt is a very strong urging towards jihadism. It's got a very strong man, it's a very strong country, and what we're seeing here is that this kind of strong military response does not work against ISIS. So that's another scary aspect of what has happened. So that probably we need really to think what we need to change in our fight against this extremism.
So your concern, Alex, you were nodding at some of that, but your concern is the aftermath of this. What happens next as a result?
Well, I thought the point about Sufism was spot on. And for those who think that, who view Islam as some sort of monolithic faith where everyone thinks the same, plainly that's not true. And plainly this sort of thing demonstrates that the divisions within Islam are as important to those who wish to do violence as the divisions between Islam and other faiths and people of no faith. But the other aspect I take from this, and Annalisa's right, it's very early days, but this demonstrates once again that the threat posed by ISIS and Islamist terror is not just a Western problem. This is a problem for every nation around the world. And what I might demur a little from what Annalisa was saying was that almost inevitably, when someone wants to do nothing but kill you, in the end it almost certainly does have a military response. And whether the Egyptians have got it right so far or not, I don't know, and that wasn't what I was saying. But in the end, I think these are not people you can negotiate with. There's almost no other settlement you can reach with these people other than violence.
Stephanie, your take on that?
Well, I think what I take away from this is that President Sisi has justified his crackdown on political liberties in Egypt, by saying he must crush ISIS, and that campaign has failed. He has a major security problem on the Sinai Peninsula, and that he really does need to rethink his strategy. Because up to this point, you've seen attacks, Egyptian militants attack Coptic Christian churches. This I think is a game changer, and I think they need to go back to the drawing board and rethink. And I think there is a concern that the crackdown in Egypt will go even further. And this is a really delicate balancing act that he needs to strike.
Yes.
I disagree with political crackdowns on freedom, liberty and expression and so forth. But I think one of the reasons that people act in this region as they do is that they know that if they don't put their own house in order, the Israelis are always keen is the wrong word. The Israelis are always willing to do so. Sinai, a particular area of sensitivity for long-standing reasons. But the Israelis in the end are no respected of national borders if they think that something is a threat to them. And how can they see Islamist activity like this and not think that it is?
And we will.